slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could.
Boom! Big up, everybody. Welcome back to TJ Warren TV. Welcome back to Hot Fuzz. Welcome back to Early Doors. Welcome back to everybody's channel, because we are simulcasting on all three channels. Welcome to the American Idiot Show, episode 67. And we have a special treat for you guys today. We have the boys from The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly Show, which is one of my favorite shows to listen to on YouTube. So let's welcome them real quick. Mr. Hot Fuzz, who is smiling because his club is actually doing something. I can't believe it. I cannot believe I'm actually saying I'm jealous of an Eric Ten Hag led United. But how are you doing, my friend? You good?
Life just hits different when your beloved club is moving money. It ain't even making it rain. It isn't even making it rain. It's actually using the money it has quite smart. But it's a complete 180 to what we're used to. You know, summer, January mediocrity by a bunch of unqualified people. You go from that, a bunch of bankers trying to figure out how to run a football club, to the best in the business. You know, we're getting withdrawal symptoms from mediocrity here.
Yeah. Well, the season hasn't started quite yet, so we'll see. Don't forget who your manager is. No, you know, all the offense. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But no, welcome to the show, man. And then, of course, making a triumphant return. It's been a while, but Tony, Early Doors TV, how you doing, man?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. And again, as always, thanks for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be with you two from across the pond. Always great talking to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, of course, Anthony, my guy, the Arsenal fan in The Good and the Bad, the Ugly. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm not too bad, TJ. Not too bad. Whatever you do, do not listen to these guys. I had so much shit on Wednesday night where we didn't sign anybody. It was unreal. I had nothing to say. I literally have nothing to say at all. All these two was talking about their transfers. I just might as well sat here with me popcorn and just listening to them two on Wednesday night. That was how bad it was.
Yeah.
But listen, it's great to be on the American Idiot Show. We're the United Kingdom idiots, so you know, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It'll absolutely be fun. And then, of course, speaking of the coolest guy on the panel, we got Dal OregonGoon coming to you live straight from Portland. How are you doing?
Melting. It's no, I feel for every of my friends in the UK. It's hot here, it's hot there, it's hot everywhere. And shout out to Fuzz taking wardrobe tips. Love it. Yeah, shout out Jason Carter. Thanks for the follow. Saw you earlier, obviously, in Jazz and Yeti show. But yeah, Mama Flossie, big names in the chat. You got Capo, but shout out to Good, Bad, Ugly, Tony, Anthony, and Hot Fuzz with his drinking champagne on this lovely Friday evening. So yeah, shout out, guys. Thanks for joining us. And let's dive into it, TJ.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Big up to the legends in the chat. Make sure that you are hitting the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already on all three channels. Excellent content for West Ham, obviously, for Early Doors. Man United over there on Hot Fuzz's channel. And then, of course, you are here for the American Arsenal show on TJ Warren TV, of course. So let's dive into it. One thing that Dal wanted to talk about, and then obviously Anthony alluded to, is the complete lack of transfer news for Arsenal. And look, I talked about this on my show a couple of times, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. As you know, as much as I think, you know, the third string goalkeeper from Ajax is going to make a huge impact on Arsenal this season, I am a little bit disappointed with the lack of targets. Obviously, we got the Calafiori saga, if you want to call it that, going on. But yeah, I mean, I'll go to Anthony first. I mean, what do you think the holdup is? Obviously, you know, Mikel Arteta has come out over and over and over again and said, hey, we're trying to improve the club, you know, where we lack depth. And I haven't seen anything so far.
No, you're absolutely right, TJ. I think, to be honest with you, this is one of the worst transfer windows that Arsenal's had at the minute. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've just had the Euros. And obviously through the Euros, and now we finished the Euros, you would expect it to be transfers at least. I know we were going to get Real, because obviously we signed him on that £3 million loan deal. Obviously, you can't complete that until obviously after the 1st of July, when there's an option to buy. So that's fine. That's fair enough. We got that one over. The other ones, yeah, what's that? We've heard of Williams. I've heard of Zubamendi. I've heard of Osherman. The list is endless. The list is absolutely endless. But guess what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We were supposed to, I mean, look at the people that we were supposed to sell. I mean, there was complications within the Smith Rowe deal with Fulham. 35 million, and he's not gone. They're holding out for more money. He's in the reserves. So, you know, he came up to the reserves. Whatever you're going to get for him, same as Eddie Nketiah, is a bonus. So they didn't cost us anything. So if we've got the opportunity to sell them, sell them. And hopefully, I hope Eddie Nketiah, personally, goes to him here. This lot. This is who I want to go to.
Oh, you mean this guy?
we put an offer in, Anthony. I keep telling you, we put an offer in for Nketiah, 49.9 million plus 50 pence, and you fuckers turned it down. What can I say?
Stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. The whole thing is another dramatic shit show that we've gone through. Remember the season we signed Peter Cech? That was fun. Remember the season we signed Kim Kallstrom with the 87-year-old back? That was fun. So, you know, this is nothing new, TJ, Fuzz, Anthony, Tony. We all know this. Everyone in the chat knows Arsenal already sitting on the donkey's jackass behind, not doing anything while Edu's out on jet skis. And teams like Man United, God forbid, are actually signing good players. They're not just
young players, too.
Yes, but young, highly rated players. Is Yenny Loro, whatever his name, going to come out this season and be a banger? No, but he could be a Saliba in the next 3 or 4 seasons. So the thing is that Buzz is willing to wait. You know, Tone seems pretty fine with the signings they're making, getting the Brazilian kid that we looked at a couple seasons ago. You know, he's better than Marquinhos. Oh, yeah, remember him? I mean, it's just it's already a shit show. Like Anthony said, there hasn't been a real lot to talk about, you know, when you debate these two other knuckleheads, because they're actually making moves.
Sorry
after
to
the Euros, it's like that's the platform to see what the new young talent is. Why is the Italian kid not in red and white? Why? We talked to his agent while he was playing at the Euros, or when he's kicked out. Sorry, Italy went out early. So we already spoke with his agent. He already wanted to come, but yet again, we find ourselves $5 million short. And we won't bid off Nketiah into the hammers. It's fucking dumb, dude. It's the same crap. Same crap.
It is the same crap. Definitely the same crap. I was also looking through the Arsenal website yesterday, and it said that Mikel Arteta has now changed his mind about a certain Fabio Vieira, even though he had a poor season last season, but he still thinks he got what it takes to get it over the line this season. I read that.
I mean, it's like gonna be you got. We have to just resign ourselves to the fact that we're gonna be playing with the exact same cast of characters next season. Yeah. Like let's be honest, we have no outgoing links for Aaron Ramsdale, who's going to probably be our second string goalkeeper. Even so, why do we? That's one of the biggest questions I have is why are we going out and signing goalkeepers when we just re-signed Carl Hein? We lost Arthur and Cuoco, which I don't think he ever really had a future at this club. He went to Wrexham. We signed an English goalkeeper from Ajax that I honestly had never heard of before, and re-signed Carl Hein, and that's it. That's all we've done. And I don't really understand. I understand the Calafiori situation. Obviously, I talked about this on the show before, but I read into it, and it looks like that FC Basel wants more of a sell-on clause for him, and Bologna are passing that cost to us, and Edu doesn't want to pay it.
Well, yeah. I think it's 15%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 50%, which I think is ridiculous, but
that's business, though, and they have a right to do that. And I know that sounds shitty, but that's business. And the thing is, the kid's not worth $50 million, but we pay over the odds anyway. So what's $50 million for someone who we can probably use? He's an Italian Tommy.
Yep.
With an injury record.
Well, and I want to know. Here's another thing that I want to know is how is this guy any better than Jakub Kiwior? Like, what about this guy's profile makes him better than Jakub Kiwior? Why are we trying to send Jakub Kiwior the other way?
He's more attacking. He's got more pace.
Okay, well then that's fine. I would like to see that. We need to see an overlapping left back here. But here's the thing: is that in terms of priority, and I want to get Anthony's thought on this as well. At the top of your priority list, Anthony, was another left back what you had in mind?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Because I thought last season, you've got to admit, Martinelli was poor. It was the only reason why was because on the right-hand side, you've got Ben White and you've got Saka. You've got Martinelli, you've got no one left back. Zinchenko going inverted. What the hell's that all about? Kiwior, don't get me wrong, Kiwior was a good solid unit at left back. He didn't have the pace. So if you notice, last season, all our attack was going down the right-hand side. Well, we got predictable. So do you know what I mean? So people knew how to play against us. So that's the only problem. So, yeah, I think a left back is a priority. I also read today for a backup from Saka, obviously I think they might rotate him. If he does come, this is Pedro Neto from Wolves. I've read that today. And that's another thing I reckon we need to do. And also a 20-goal striker. 20-goal striker. Whether it's going to be, I don't know whether it's going to be Ivan Toney, but personally, I reckon he's going to go to Tottenham. I've called it. I think he's going to go to Spurs. Personally, for me, I would love Ollie Watkins at our club. Ollie Watkins, I think he'd do a decent job there. But you know, he's playing what? He's playing Champions League now for Aston Villa next season. So is he going to want to leave there and join us?
And his value went up after the Euro goal, right? I mean,
it did, yeah. It went up to about 100 mil. It was 75 million for the Euros.
Yeah.
Again, so what's that? Say that again.
No, where you said? What did you say, Anthony? What'd you say? What'd you say last? Sorry, bud.
Oh, sorry. It was. Ollie Watkins was 75 million before the Euros started. Now the Euros is finished. Right, it's now from 75 million. It's gone up to around about 100 million.
And we're not buying Ollie.
We're not buying. Guys, we're not buying a striker. Okay, I think Kai Havertz did just enough for us not to be prioritizing that at this point. And and you hear through the rumor mill again, and I want to get Dow's on this, and then we'll go to Fuzz and Mr. Tony here. Is why is that? Why is Kai Havertz good enough, and why are we hanging on to the likes of injury-ridden Partey and Emile Smith-Rowe, who won't get a sniff in this club?
Well, I think we're hanging on to Partey because Possibly the Saudi links have fallen through.
Yeah.
Possibly any links to any club have fallen through for Thomas Partey. I don't think he's on anyone's list as a priority signing.
Yeah.
I think he's a great player, and I don't mind having him for one more season as much as I thought he'd be gone already. If we get one more season out of him, I'm not going to completely object to that, even though, Zubameni, this Marino guy we're looking at, I think would be a really good fit as well. We all know Jorginho can't go 3 or 4 games straight. And Thomas Partey knows the Arteta system, right? He's key to the system. So I don't see him staying at one more season without any real suitors as a bad thing. However, with that 28-goal striker, where does that put Havertz, guys? And I've said it, stream after stream after stream. It puts Havertz at left mid.
Yeah.
And that just goes along exactly with what Anthony's saying. You have Zinni, Havertz, and Martinelli on the left, and that is just too weak. And Anthony's 1,000% right. The Zinni Martinelli thing does not work. It worked well 2 seasons ago, and obviously he came in second for the first time in a while, but that was long ago. That Martinelli had 15 goals. He had 5 or 6 last season. So, I think I've said it before, TJ, and you know this. I mean, I'm repeating myself. That left side is very weak with Zinni in there. And we get that striker, he's sure as hell going to move Havertz to the left mid.
Yep. No, and we've seen time and time again that it doesn't work, and that's what scares me too. So while I do want a striker, like obviously, I also don't want to interrupt whatever chemistry we do have left in the team after last season. I mean, last season we had one of our best seasons in a long time, despite the fact that we finished behind Man City again. But, there are we were one of the top goal getters in the league. We had the biggest or second biggest goal difference. We had the biggest goal difference going into April, but it's one of those things where we just gotta, it doesn't make you feel optimistic. That's all I'm going to say about it.
If we sold some of these players, had some money in the transfer budget, put it in the kitty, and make things happen, but we're not selling anyone. Or we would have money. We would have money and get around these, these EPL financial rules because we'd have some money to spend, and they would look at that and say, "Okay, you're doing what you're supposed to. You're supposed to sell players to buy new ones. That's the way it works." But the issue is, and you guys all know, that we're not selling anyone, and we're not bidding Eddie Nketiah up to West Ham for 49 mil. We're holding out for what Tony say? Another million or something, or $500,000? It's stupid. It's stupid. Like that $500,000 is going to go anywhere, but the ownership's pocket anyway. So it's just Edu not knowing the European market well enough. He knows the Brazilian squad. He knows Brazilian teams. I'll give him that. He knows these little young gems. But again, Marquinhos has turned out to be shit. So I'm just, right? The kid at Norwich.
The guy who scored a goal against PSV in their Europa League cried, and then we never saw him again.
And Osimhen's already Osimhen to PSV is a done deal. That's like pretty much a done deal. I read the other day. It was Osimhen and someone else going to PSG because what's his name? Lukaku's now at Napoli. So we've missed out on Osimhen. I know a lot of people didn't rate him, but to me, he was definitely in the top 3 choices. And I just have a feeling they're going to give Havertz the 9. And we're going to be looking for a left mid or just play Smith Rowe there. If he decides Smith Rowe's ready to play, but I'm pretty much done with him. The injury's too much. It's too inconsistent. He's coming in late in games and not making any impact. So anyway.
No.
We got Tony.
Yeah. I
was going to say that. Sorry, TJ. I was going to say that.
No, Tony.
I was going to say that, Dow, me and Fuzz just kind of just leaning back and let's just hear these other three. Anthony's doom and gloom from Wednesday is carried over into this show as well. I can just see
we're just the mediators. We're just the mediators for this AA session, right?
You guys got me right here on Wednesday, right here. The pain's still there. That's all I'm saying.
It's all love, my friend. All love.
I can still see the tear streaks.
Love with wings, Anthony. Love with wings.
All right, so Fuzzy, I want to ask you about this. Lenny Euro was linked heavily to Real Madrid. You guys go in there and steal him.
Mm.
18-year-old looking to be, he says world-class potential is what everybody's saying. World-class potential for this guy. Lille give him up for 62 million. And they're saying that he could be playing next to Saliba in a couple of years. What do you think? You got to be excited. I mean, come on. You got like five years on this guy?
He's a 5-year deal. It's what I'd probably label a sandbox player. Like you can morph him into absolutely anything, depending on what Man United do in terms of player development, because he's got the capabilities to turn into absolutely anybody, which is, you know, a joy to have at your disposal. And not just that, but you get to exert that prospect with him being in and around first team football. Because if you're saying, he goes off to Real Madrid, you know, the prospect there is that you're at Real Madrid, you're at the biggest club on the planet, the most biggest trophy accumulation out of any club on the planet. You're there to just win trophies, but whether you're the star of the show or not doesn't matter. Man United could offer him something right now that Real Madrid couldn't, which is guarantee to play a lot more likely to attain experience, but also player development by playing games in the Premier League. Probably a better wage as well than what Real Madrid were prepared to offer him. And I think that's obviously a bit of a sweetener. But I think it's just the way in which we probably communicated to the player and his entourage. Because it's easy to say, well, you know, come to Man United because of Man United. I think there's a genuine ambition where the guys that we've got go out there to have these conversations with the likes of Lenny Yoro and other players like that, and they genuinely say that the ambition for Manchester United is not just like, we'll grow your profile as a player, but we aim to do what Real Madrid is. To be what Real Madrid is. We aim to do what they do. That's ultimately what Manchester United, you know, symbolizes. That's what we're meant to be. We believe that you're a key factor in kickstarting that. It might be a journey, but you're pivotal to that. So from a player standpoint, you think, well, it's Manchester United, irrespective of whether it's, you know, winning trophies or not. So again, that can still have pull. But then it's the prospect of knowing the project you're going into and what the club upstairs are doing, because that's something that can captivate you to go to make the jump to a club. So I see it a lot. You know, rival fans are upset. Oh, you know, look at them spending this much money on an 18-year-old. But Manchester United have essentially decided, well, it's going to be packaged about a £62 million deal overall, but it's paid across several years. Yeah, it's structured. So actually, this summer, right here, right now, we've probably paid somewhere in the regions. Not to mention the £62 million is package. It's actually about 44, 46 million pound. For the player outright minus the add-ons. So actually, spread that across 4 years. Probably about £12 million we paid for him this summer for an 18-year-old to morph him into something. And if he does well, 3 years from now, Real Madrid will buy him.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, thanks for the big profit.
For double the price too. And here's the thing. And this kid is special. He was nominated for Young Player of the Year. Didn't win it, but Young Player of the Year, and made the team 11 for the French league. He's 18 years old. That's a huge get. And honestly, I'm jealous. But my question for you though, Fuzzy, and then I'll let you guys go, because I feel like I'm asking a lot of the questions here. Do you trust your manager, who cannot seem to score goals, or defend them, to be totally frank, to develop this talent? Like, you guys are pulling in all these guys, but you guys are still under this leadership that was heavily criticized, to say the least, last season.
I think the dinner plate for Ten Hag, I'll say it like this: the dinner plate for Ten Hag now is a lot less crowded than it was before when we come to responsibility. Because you think about the people he had to answer to before. Ineos came in with this whole power structure and everything. everyone's coming to him and saying, this is what we can offer you. We believe this will work well with you. And he's saying, I agree, that would work well with me. Beforehand, he was going to John Bloody Murto and saying, can you get me this player? No. We can get you this guy, though. He's on my version of the 180-page document, we found this guy on page 160. We can offer you that guy. Go that far down the list to get you that guy. So essentially, there's less pressure to have to manage everything, and it's more focus on the team, but the pressure's still there in a different form that he has to deliver. So whether there's an incentive there that he has to play or have a different approach to play style, which might suggest that by the way in which he's gone out to get new coaching staff, that he's going to try and switch things up a bit. Now, whether that works out, we'll have to see. But the thing is whether I trust the manager or not, it sort of takes a bit of a back seat when I can say, well, I trust Ineos. If it doesn't work, goodbye Ten Hag, he'll be gone like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they won't hesitate to pull the trigger. They will say goodbye, thanks for trying, get somebody else in.
I'm still thrown for a loop as to why they kept him. I mean, if you win the FA Cup, do you still think he stays? Sorry, I keep asking questions. I'm genuinely curious to get Man United fans' opinions on this guy.
If he didn't win the FA Cup, I mean, if he didn't win the FA Cup, then I think he would have been gone. And the thing is for me, that there's some people who would say, well, I still think we can see a better Ten Hag management style. I still think that he can do better, just improve the environment, and he'll feel more incentivized and more committed to doing his own thing rather than needing to shape everything to tick everybody else's boxes. Because that's one thing at Manchester United that's quite prevalent with managers before, is you're doing whatever the club sort of forces you into, and it's like, oh, here we go again. With Ineos, it's sort of like, well, you do what you do best, and if it doesn't work, you'll be gone. So for me, I was sort of in the camp of like, I didn't necessarily care too much whether the manager stayed or go or went. What mattered most to me is that the club and how it behaves starts acting more like how a football club should, where the intent's to win trophies and be better than everybody else. So if the manager's not good enough, bye-bye. If the manager is good enough, back him. And they've decided they've said the manager market would have to pay a lot of money to get a better manager in. But I mean, at that time, Gareth Southgate was the name on everyone's lips. So I think they looked at that and thought,
what a signing that would have been.
Nah, we're happy. We're happy with Ten Hag. We believe, and their words, they believe that he wasn't backed properly since he's been at the club, based off of their review. Yeah. And what everybody said, because they spent a little bit of time doing that review, so they know it from the inside out that the manager wasn't properly backed by the previous regime, so they want to give him that clean slate, but the time frame he's got to prove it is a little bit more cutthroat because he's already been here for a bit of time beforehand. So I'm optimistic whichever way it goes with the manager. I'm optimistic that if it doesn't work with Ten Hag, there's another manager out there that ultimately we can just continue to ascend.
Or Van Nistelrooy is right there. He's just right there if you guys need him.
And Rene Hake as well.
Yeah.
Similar ideology. Both of those are first team managers.
Ask Anthony what he thinks about Van Nistelrooy. Ask Jez what he thinks about Van Nistelrooy.
I think
Londoner and Manic.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. I like having my YouTube channel. I think it'll get taken down if I ask Chaz that question. No, but Tony, let's switch over to West Ham real quick, and then we'll just open it up to whatever. Lopetegui, you guys are moving in the transfer market. I mean, how are you feeling about your prospects coming up? Obviously, David Moyes is gone. You got Lopetegui. Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling optimistic? Where are you at on West Ham right now?
I'm still kind of dreary out with Lopetegui. I think we've got to see where we're going to go with this this new process, with this new manager coming in. But I mean, they're backing him. We've signed 3 players so far. Obviously Gilhern, Fodringham, and obviously Kilman. But at the same point now, obviously there's the Wan-Bissaka deal. It looks like that could be making some movement. We obviously have had this agreement with Todibo, but obviously he wants to go to Juve. But there's, I think Juve are not willing to pay the price. So that's very much in the air. But of course, Newcastle have now thrown their hat in the ring with that player. So we've got to see what's going to happen there. Your guy, Nelson, we bypassed. We went, we went for the earlier ends, NE and not NK. So we've gone for the Nelson instead of the Nketiah.
Nice to clean that up for us.
Absolutely.
We'll just throw both of them in there.
Yeah, just a 2-for-1 package.
2-for-1 deal, baby.
You can only have
Bogo,
one.
buy one, get
you
one.
Have to, you have to move on to the next letter.
Can you buy the Milky Bar kid whilst you're at it?
But the main thing is, if you look at it, the one thing that you've got to give the club credit for, they actually are backing this manager, and we're doing it early. We've done it earlier than most clubs did, especially with Gilhern. We got that one in before the Euros even kicked off. So that's brilliant in that respects. 18-year-old wonder kid. So it's looking good for us in that respects.
Yep.
I mean, Anthony said it looks like it probably will be that club, but the 2 London clubs that are in the hat for Tony is West Ham and Spuds, but I think Spuds going to get that one over the line. And the recent one that's been thrown in the ring is N'Golo Kante.
I saw that.
What?
Yeah.
Apparently,
Did he come back?
Well, it's quite genuine. He wants to come back to London. He does want to come back to London. The problem is, though, with the Saudi League, it's not as that easy to sell a player on, because apparently the money you make goes to the ministry. You hardly see anything of that. Then, of course, there's the wages. I think he's on like £500,000 a week, but there's a way of getting around that. So I can't see West Ham paying that money. But at the same point, I think if you look at it, if we can get that one done, I mean, he did well in the Euros. So that'd be where we'll fit in with our current setup. It'll be interesting to see in that respects. But no, I'm pleased with the way the business is going. And I've seen Steve Cox's comment. Yeah, I'm on board, Steve. I am on board with it. It's just a case of, I think when I said that, bring it on. You know the song all together now.
Nice song.
But I think it's a fact of, because obviously Lopetegui's history, what he's done what he did with Wolves.
Yep.
What he did, of course, then there's that link up between Spain and the Real Madrid situation that went on. It's one of those. I mean, but we played our first friendly. We drew 2-2. He was quite pleased with the progress in that. So yeah, it's good. Hope But the main thing is, as you said, Man United and West Ham are buying players and doing some business.
Yeah, I know. Are you happy about the Wan-Bissaka links?
Yeah. We need a replacement now, that's for sure. Yeah. I think he's ambitious to come back as well. I did hear, I saw a thing today which did make me laugh, in the fact of, you can have Wan-Bissaka and we'll have Alvarez plus some money coming. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll believe that one when I see it. You
don't want to get rid of Alvarez. I like Alvarez. I think Alvarez is a solid player. I see him far too often playing for Mexico, but whenever he's the keystone in Mexico.
Yeah, we can't sell him. He's got to stay.
He was one of the top players at Ajax. He was their starting CDM for 5 seasons. Well, Alvarez is a very good player. I wouldn't mind him at Arsenal.
We're not serious about getting sixes now.
We don't look at the big picture on players' development and see how well they progress in lower European leagues. No, we go straight for French or 18-year-olds or
speaking of going for French players, we don't go for N'Golo Kante, but obviously freaking West Ham can.
No, we went for Granit Xhaka in that transfer window, TJ.
I know. And I've heard it so many times before, and I still have to laugh at it.
What is he, 32, 33 tone, right?
Perfect.
32,
And he's
little
ex
contract.
Chelsea.
He's 33.
But
He's 33.
With
Yeah.
the legs, but with the
He's
legs of a 28-year-old. I mean, he is a complete athlete, bro. He will do wonders at West Ham.
He played
He will
played
keep the ball.
extremely
He will
well.
attack the ball. He will open play. He will make mid to long range passes. He will run like an engine, and that's what teams like West Ham need. They need the bet. I mean, even if he is over a bit of his prime, and N'Golo Kante is a difference maker, in my opinion. So
Yeah, agree
I
on
just
that.
think that's a great signing if it gets get that over the line, even if he has lost a step or two. But I mean,
He didn't look like he lost a step at the Euro.
yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
So I think you've got a real gem there, Tony. If you guys can really get him to sign on the dotted line and get him in the lineup, him and Suchek would probably be pretty good together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
him and
and
Scott
by the way, I'm
McTominay.
not- Go ahead. What are you saying, Fuzz?
Him and Scott McTominay. Even
Yeah,
better.
Scott McTominay. Yeah,
Oh.
get McManus into the midfield there.
Oh,
No,
did he?
Hot Fuzz is so excited right now because he's
I
literally
didn't
just
know
offloading all these players that just don't fit anymore. And all this guy's doing in here smiling. It's ridiculous.
We're being linked to Rabiot. We've just been told that the Ugarte deal's making progression.
Ugarte's
The player, it's green light on the player's side. He wants to join. What else? There's your young. I think somebody starred. You starred the comment.
Yeah.
Your academy striker, a record breaker in your academy.
Ooh.
Allegedly went to Carrington. Apparently, that at first was dismissed as not true by an account that sort of has links to United Academy. But now David Ornstein's kind of like doubled down on that by saying, "Well, no, this is what's happened." I don't know whether this is actually true or not, but if it's true, then it's a brilliant acquisition for the academy.
It's just
That's it.
I'm and this is again one of my biggest criticisms of Arsenal is us letting our academy players go because we can't fit them into the system or we don't have a future. We can't guarantee them a future that these other clubs can. It's absolutely infuriating to me the fact
Probably better than Nketiah.
No, he's not. No, it's not even probably. It's not even a probably. The upside on this kid. You can obviously he goes out there. He scores what? He scored how many goals? Like 5, 6 goals in a game, and nobody's taking it seriously. Everybody's like, oh well, yeah, I guess we can let him go because we don't really have a spot there, because that spot taken up by Eddie and Eddie.
He's got so much stupid. He's like 45 goals in 38 games, and you're like, what? Just Arteta, call him up. Give him a go. It can't get any worse. I mean, look at up front. The options we got up front. Jesus. That's no good to me now. Don't get me wrong. I really liked him when we first signed him. I thought, brilliant. He's going to be, he's going to be the bee's knees, exactly. But he's not, because he can only score 12 goals a season. And also, if he gets that certain injury, that certain knock, he's out for 3 months. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's people like that we've got to get rid of. Partey. I'm a fan of Partey. I like Partey, but he's too injury prone. We have got a few injury-prone players at Arsenal. And when I'm on the subject of football, Fuzzy, Man United, they got to calm down with the signings now. Calm down and get that bloody roof fixed. Because I think that's more of a priority than bringing in players. I'm not jealous or anything, but do you know what I mean?
If you save so much money on this Euro kid, you can upgrade your roof. So maybe we're seeing a trend. We're seeing a trend, guys. I mean, you look at Yanni Loro going to Man United. He's 18 years old. Chica Obe, 16. You got kids that are 17 from Brazil. So much. So Arteta really needs to look at this, deal with this kid, and figure out where he fits in. Play him in some Carling Cup games or some Carabao Cup games. Give him a run in the FA Cup against Anthony's beloved Bristol Rovers. So I mean,
friendly fire.
friendly fire.
Don't shoot.
No, the thing is that's my issue still. Along with I do not know the European market. Is look at the big picture. It's like these young kids. They're not like kids anymore. They're fucking grown men. Right, like Saliba, 22. He is a grown ass man now, right? I mean, Yanni Loro, 18. He's 6'3". That is a grown ass man. So the thing is that we've got to look at their ages. You can give these kids 6-7 year contracts. Look at Chelsea. So the fact of the matter is, if you give 5 years to Lenny Laura, whatever his name is, like Buzz saying, you're not only spending $12 million a year for one of the top French defenders in the world right now, rated as. And so it's almost a good investment to give the 16, 17, and 18-year-olds a real chance. It really is. City are signing the American kid. I don't know if you guys have heard this name, Kevin Sullivan. So Man City's already signed him. He's 14 years old. He just made his debut in the MLS the other night. Youngest footballer ever.
And didn't miss a pass. Didn't miss a pass, by the way, either.
And that's why he's going to City.
Yep.
Right. So, and
14
City's got
years old.
Fabio. They're going to get Gumarish probably over the line. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe tell us, Tone, about Paquetá, where he stands with you guys, because I think that's in or out. I don't know what his deal is. So, go ahead, Tone. What's going on with Paquetá? Is he going to City or Arsenal or anybody?
No, I think he's still. Well, I think there was one point talking going back to Argentina at one stage. By all accounts, though, he can still play the whole season while all this thing's going on with the betting scandal. So he can still play for us. So that's good in that respect. But depends what player we're going to get from that, because obviously, you know, it must obviously affect someone when you've got that overhanging, your head with all this scandal. We'll see. I mean, I don't think City will go in from at this stage with what's been going on, considering they've got 115 charges going on with them as well. I don't think they want to add another one onto that. They need to get that one down first of all. So I think he's just going to remain with us for the probably for the remaining season. So hopefully it'll be all good.
Yeah, and actually, I want to highlight this one thing again here too, and this is a big theme that we've always talked about here. And big up McChronicle, he always says when Arteta didn't play the academy players in the UCL, dead rubber against PSV is what I'm assuming is what he's talking about here. Instead of the Deadwood academy players saw the light and said, "Yeah, see ya." No, that's one of the biggest criticisms is why is Mo El Neni in? Why is Cedric in? Those players are thankfully now out of the club. Why are they starting in this game? Why is Eddie Nketiah starting up top? Why don't you throw Ethan Nwaneri up there? He looked good against West Ham in a couple of games before that. Like I don't understand the non focus on the development of our youth players. Unless we're gonna sell them, and we're not really, when we sell them, we don't really sell them for much. So yeah, I just want to throw this out there. Other teams are a lot better at it, better than us at doing that. But it is what it is. As long as Arteta and Edu are in charge, we're fine.
Trust the process, guys. Trust the process.
Trust the process. We're about to go into phase 5 of the process.
I can actually trust my process. My process is
swimming in the process.
Yeah, you're swimming in the process. Oh my god. I'm gonna remember this, Hot Fuzz. I'm gonna remember this, and then when you guys are in 8th or 9th place in January, then I'm gonna invite you back to the show, and we're gonna see how you're swimming, how those waters are feeling.
They'll be feeling quite lukewarm, to be fair. We'll be fine because if we're in 8th place by sort of December time, the club won't be sitting still. They'll be acting. They'll be proactive. They'll be doing something about it.
Well, you'd have that song Fuzzy coming over on the Tanneroid at full time when it rains. Justin Timberlake, "Cry Me a River." So that's what we ought to be having. Definitely.
That comment went over well with Alexi Lawless.
Oh, no.
No, the thing is that I mean we're keeping out a couple of other teams. We haven't really mentioned much about Villa, well, because there's not a Villa panel guy, and we haven't really talked much about Newcastle either. Who really? I mean, shout out Mama Flossie. They're spending that much money and they're linked to who? Olenga from Forest, really? I mean,
are you talking about the striker from Forest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Newcastle. You would think Newcastle
they already have a striker.
New money. Well, exactly. With all this newfound money, that they would be looking at bigger names, but I'm not so sure. I'm thinking some of these players are looking closer at West Ham and United and Villa, maybe than they are Newcastle. They aren't bringing any big names. They're not linked to anybody.
Yeah.
I'm interested. No?
I'm interested with in terms of player acquisitions from Everton, because today their takeover collapsed. So they were going to get a big money injection with new ownership, but they backed out and they're like, nah, there's way too much debt there. So their turnover from last year was about 147 million as a club. Their debt that they need to pay off stands in the 660 plus million pounds. So they've got to find some money from somewhere. Man United want Jared Branthwaite. They are saying, oh, well, we don't have to sell him, 70 million pounds. Well, have a 30 million pound third and final offer, less than any of our other two offers, and suck on them apples, Everton. Down with the Blues.
Yeah. So are Everton in danger of dropping points again due to financial fair play?
I don't.
That's what it sounds like. But I know they sold Onana, so that'll help. But
yeah, I don't really know where they stand on FFP per se. I just think with like the debts that they've got, or the certain specific debts. So like Man United, our debts might be more overall, but it's we service those debts and pay it off really, really passively. Everton's ones, I think I don't know if there may be deadlines on those that they have to sort out some of those debts before a certain point. But man,
they start on -4 points. Everton and Forest, both of them start on -4, and Leicester City, they start on -10.
City start.
Leicester City starts at -10.
They start on -10.
Why even promote them?
Right, that's what I'm just thinking.
Like, what's the point? They're gonna get relegated. Like that's absolutely ridiculous.
So the teams that are coming up are Ipswich, Leicester, and who else?
Southampton.
Okay, who Aaron's Ramsdale's linked to for on loan. How the mighty have fallen. And I've said before, I don't know if Fuzz, Anthony, or Tony, you guys take on this. I think Ramsdale needs to eat humble pie and just, you're in second place. That's the way it goes. Sometimes you have to be second fiddle if you want to stay in the top. That's the point I'm at now. We're not getting 60, 90 million for him like we were last year. 30, 40 mil, maybe send him off. But there comes a point where it's like, yeah, you're at a top club, come in second 2 years in a row, even though we've won nothing, so that really means nothing. But at the same time, you're second fiddle Raya. Suck it up, go sit on the bench and cheer on the lads. You're at Arsenal football. What the hell? Go ahead, Tony.
I'm going to say the other thing on Everton as well, you've got to remember they've just had this collapse of this other group that was going to look to take them over as well. That's fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, yeah.
That's the freaking group, I think they're called. I mean, this puts a big dent in their kind of, especially got the new stadium they're going to move into next year as well, plus the points deduction. Any kind of future kind of players they want to get into now. I mean, Anthony called it. Sean Dyche going to England, and that maybe he might reconsider now, considering what's going on there. He might think to himself, it might be a best thing to get out while the going's good. Right. So we'll see.
I just don't want a yes man in there, Tim. I'm fed up of yes men going to England, and Sean Dyche to me doesn't seem like a yes man. Obviously with the FA. So with him going in there, I think he'd do good. He'd want to do it his own way, which, in all fairness, I think he should be given that opportunity. Because I'm not having Lee Carsley in charge of England. Stop that! No way.
Who do you want in charge of England?
Well, personally, he's Guyver Fenerbahce. I would have minded Jose Mourinho. Personally, that would have been reasonable. But I mean, we got it's either Eddie Howe, Graham Potter, Sean Dyche. There's talks about Potts, a candidate for the job as well. I'd even hear Klopp. to be in charge of England as well.
We tried to get Klopp and laughed us out of the room.
He's waiting for the Madrid job to open up next season.
Exactly.
I think. Hey, did you see this? Did you see this, Dal? I posted about it in the chat today, but
I did not.
Patrick Vieira.
Oh yes, to USA.
Patty Vieira
All day long.
left Strasbourg by mutual consent. Get him to the United States. Get his passport ready. Come on over. That's all I'm gonna say. I would love to have Vieira head up the U.S. men's national team. That would be.
Don't slap me for this, but or put on some clip with Adam Sandler. But I would take Garrett Southgate to the U.S. team.
What?
Shut up!
Yeah,
I would take Garrett Southgate to the U.S. right now.
no.
He would get a good dentist. He would get a good dental plan. Get a little something for his job.
That guy is help. That guy is literally helpless.
He could make something out of the U.S. team, though, TJ.
Dude, as soon as I saw the Southgate rumors, I'm like, you know what? I'm turning Twitter off. I'm done. I'm done with the internet today. Like, if this guy, why would we fire one fraud just to hire another? That's my
Southgate to USA and Marcus Rashford changes citizenship.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford.
He's already got a job. He's already got a job, Southgate. He works over. He works for Subway because apparently he's good at making subs. So I just.
Yeah, and
shit, I know, but
No, I would take Mourinho too. Mourinho for sure. But second place, hey, I would think Eddie Howe. But like Mama said, he's in Newcastle.
Yeah, he's staying in Newcastle. I who I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Graham Potter.
Oh,
to be honest.
Sure.
It's going to be Graham Potter for you guys, and that isn't. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. To be honest, I think it reintroduces something new.
Yeah, but TJ, if you look at the remit the FA want, you have to have your coaching badges, your UEFA badges, etc., and you've got to have Premier League experience. Well, let's put her out the window straight away. When you look at it, what he did at Chelsea. I mean,
how much Premier League experience did Southgate have other than getting Middlesbrough relegated?
He
they finished 12 in his first season.
I thought you were talking about managing.
No, listen, right? Tony misspoke. He called it you need to have Premier League experience. He was meant to say you need to have Premier League failure.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. The more failure there is, the better qualified for the job you are.
If that's the case, in Fuzzy, Arteta for the England job. That's the one.
For England.
Yes, that's the one. Arteta we trust.
Somebody seriously asked me during one of my Q&As if I would take Arteta at the United States men's team. I said absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's his level.
Yeah. No, and get somebody in better at Arsenal.
The U.S. men's team or Everton. One of the two. Arteta, take your pick.
Yeah, you can do it.
Or Rangers.
I believe it. But yeah, no, and this is exactly why, Bader, is I liked what I saw from Patrick Vieira at Crystal Palace. It looked like he was building something, and then he ran into a bad run of games and got kicked out for Woy again. And I honestly think that this was that was too soon, in my opinion, too soon. But obviously, Crystal Palace are in a good spot now. But again, I liked what Vieira was building there. I think it would be an exciting. It would get the base excited in the United States if we brought in a Vieira or a Vieira type. Obviously, he's not a Klopp, but nobody's going to get Klopp. Sorry to say it, but yeah, I would be excited about it. Honestly,
I think Klopp's going to Madrid next season.
You think he's tired, and then they're gonna hire him off Madrid?
Not this season, but next season. Yeah, I think Carlos got one more season in Madrid to work with Mbappe, and then Klopp is going to slot right in there.
Yeah, he's going to walk straight in,
right behind Mbappe.
And then that's when we I know I keep saying this, but I'm going to keep doing it. That's when the United States sends in the SEALs to kidnap. We send in the SEALs. We kidnap Don Carlito, and we promise him the Dutton Ranch, right? He likes Yellowstone. We say, here's a swath of land in Montana. Please, for the love of God, manage our national team.
Take over for Arteta.
Take over. Yeah.
Arteta, the USA, big. That's his level. All the more power to him. But the thing is that with if we were to replace Arteta, I think one of the managers I would look at right now, I think it's what's his name, Scolari, the Argentinian coach, Argentinian manager, Scolari, right?
Yeah, that's his name. But I can't stand Argentina or Argentinians this week.
this week. Come on now. No, I know we haven't really dived into the Enzo thing, have we? Too much.
No, we haven't, and it's yeah, and we, unfortunately
Hansi
we
Flick
only have
is a
5
good
minutes
strike.
left.
I mean, what you won at Bayern Munich, Hansi Flick. You know what I mean? I mean,
Well,
I remember,
Hansi Flick went to Barcelona.
Barcelona,
We
yeah.
missed that train. We missed that train.
That's where Nico Williams is going to go. So anything you guys hear about, I think about Nico Williams and all that, he's going to Barcelona. He's not coming to Barcelona.
Yeah, don't believe everything you read. I saw that. I saw some Twitter ITK saying, "Oh, we're linked now." I'm like, this isn't even worth discussing. Like, why? Yeah, we're not. They're not going to replace Trossard or Martinelli. They're not going to do it. So the Nico Williams links were bunk to begin with. So this is why I hate. This is one of the biggest things I hate about transfers. Like 95% of the rumors are bullshit.
Right.
It's a lot worse when it's at a club fueled by PR as well, because a lot of them are solely for the engagement. Whereas if you've got a club that just doesn't mess around, no one really cares. So you don't get all the BS stories.
No, exactly. There are people that are out there doing actual work, and then there are others that are talking about doing work.
Well, there was breaking news the other day for us for Man United. Apparently, Johnny Evans has signed a 2-year contract.
Yeah,
Johnny Evans completed football. He's a hell of a signing.
Yeah, Grand Slam champion, I think.
Johnny Evans.
How dare you make fun of him?
Everything.
Going to start. Johnny Evans is going where? Everton?
No, United. He's staying at United.
They said Everton. Okay. I know. That's what I told Fuzz earlier. Don't be alarmed if it's Maguire and Evans starting the season.
That won't happen. Won't happen. Ineos wouldn't allow it. They'll make him disappear. They'll make Maguire disappear real quick. He tries to walk down that Old Trafford tunnel. They'll see him put a bag over his head and just see him struggling, taking him out the back door.
Oh my god!
Or kick him in a little bit and then put him back.
There's one question I want to ask you, Buzz. Can you see Sancho starting over Anthony? Because apparently Sancho and Ten Hag, apparently they've made amends now.
Sancho will probably, if he does stay, they might still consider selling him if the offer comes in. Probably ahead of Anthony, because I think Anthony, they're weighing up loaning him out.
They have to at this point. Or are you guys going to keep Pellistri?
No, I think Pellistri will go. I think the big question for me is Amad Diallo, because he's sort of found his feet a little bit in the team towards the tail end of last season. And I think you don't really want to park that and say, nah, you can't play anymore because we've got these guys starting ahead of you. You kind of want to keep him in that team, starting some games here and there, sort of finding his feet, because he's one of those sort of like young player contingents that's promising for United, and he's got good ability to him. He's he's got good qualities for a winger, and I'd certainly keep him around. Whether Ineos think the same, we'll have to see.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, I got to wrap up because I got to go look at houses with my wife. So sorry to keep this one. Sorry to have to cut this one short.
Have fun, TJ.
I know. I love leaving the house when it's 90 degrees out. It's my favorite thing in the world. But we'll definitely have to have these guys on again because I feel like this is a conversation that could go for hours and hours and hours. So
2 hours.
Yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for coming on. Sorry to keep it brief, but we will definitely have you guys on again. Possibly if you guys want to, possibly before the season starts, because there's going to be a lot more to talk about, especially after some of these preseason games get underway.
Just one quick question. I know you got to go, TJ. You guys quickly, just yes or no, around the panel, or a little more detail. Is there a specific transfer that you think will happen that will trigger everything else? Is there a big European transfer that you guys see?
You think that'll just like bust the
trigger and just everything will open up? Yeah. The Mbappe move's done, so that's not going to happen.
Scott McTominay going to Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, jeez.
You're going to West Ham.
Yeah. Tony, he said his headphones and that because Nketiah has just signed for the club. Yeah, that'd be the one.
Tony to Spurs would light me on fire. I'd be so mad, but it is what it is. I think that would bust it open a little bit.
I think
Well,
Tony to Spurs would be.
The Tony one though, they're actually reducing the fee, aren't they? As well, that's the thing to sell it. They want him out.
They just want him out.
Yeah,
At this
that's
point.
out.
40 million.
$1 million. They wanted to sting us for 100. Thanks, guys, again for coming on, TJ.
Yes. Shout out your channels, guys, real quick. Hot Fuzz, go first, my friend, since you're winning the transfer window so far.
Yeah, we're winning on the pitch, off the pitch, everywhere, on YouTube, off YouTube, and all walks of life at the moment. The only thing that's not quite winning at the moment is my passing, according to some YouTube accounts out there. That's sort of degrading like Old Trafford roof, but it is what it is. Leakage is up there, then leakages over in Manchester. But yeah, find me on Hotbuzz44. Of course, one of the locations where I'm streaming this show from. If you are watching on my end, the links to all the existing channels for everybody on the panel will feature in the description. So do be sure to spread the love, subscribe to everybody. We're on 202 now, so an extra subscriber today. So big ups to whoever that was. Big thank yous for that. And of course, Mama Flossie dropping the link there for all of the channels there to engage with. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for the invitation. Big ups to everybody. And yeah, hopefully we can get a part 2 to this sometime in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony, shout yourself out, my friend. Thanks again. And that AI was absolutely ridiculous. You got to realize it was 5:30 in the morning when I saw that here in the US, and I was just like scared me awake. I was like,
You're most welcome, mate. I can do another one for you, not a problem at all. It's on Gospel TV. You can find me obviously with Fuzzy and Anthony doing The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is on a Wednesdays in 8:30 p.m. in the UK times. Obviously, Sundays is the Sunday Night Takeaway show. Used to are always welcome. You know that.
I gotta get on that.
You're always welcome on that. And yeah, as always, it's great to be on. With you guys again. This is brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Anthony, anything you want to shout out, my friend?
Well, as Tony calls me, he calls me the YouTube whore, or whatever you want to there, But yeah, you can find me on Early Doors TV, where we do our show, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Wednesday 8:30. Also the Sunday Night Takeaway. I'm on Jez's show as well, Arsenal History and more. Tune to that. I'd love to do a part 2 of this to come on. All I'm going to say is I'm going to finish off. TJ, brilliant job. Dal, you're my hero. Remember that. And yeah, everybody, have a good Friday night.
Absolutely. And then, of course, last but not least, the host with the most, Dal. You're looking mighty cool in those sunglasses.
Thanks, man. Because I'm so shocked with Fuzz's crazy lighting and all the excitement going around his club. There you go, Fuzz. Put him on, Maverick. There we go. He's so happy. Look at him. Makes me sick. No, shout out everyone in the chat. And TJ, thanks for having me on. Of course, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Early Doors, Anthony and Fuzz. Great having you guys on. And I've been on your guys' show a couple times, so I'm available Sunday. I would love to drop in the pub, say hello. And yes, and one quick note, if you're looking in the chat, if someone has a little red YouTube symbol next to their name or their avatar icon, that means they have a channel or some sort of YouTube presence, and you can subscribe to anyone in the chat who has that little red icon. I didn't know if people knew that or not. So anyway, happy Friday, TJ. Good luck looking for a multi-million-dollar house.
Totally multi-million-dollar. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to relocate to Kansas City. So anyway,
2 million ideas. 2 million. Yeah.
Need to buy out the place next to Cronky's ranch, so you can let them know every other week how you feel about Arsenal.
Hey, if I'm buying a ranch, I'm good, but I don't have the ranch money. Is the problem? That's the issue. All right, guys, this has been the 67th episode of the American Idiot Show. You can catch me next. I believe I'm going live with Connor on Sunday for Let's Be Real, so we're going to do that Sunday, and then we're going to redirect over to the Sunday Night Takeout show, so make sure that you guys are there. And Tony, if I'm around, I will let you know, and I will join you guys in the pub there.
I'll send you the link anyway, DJ.
What?
I'll send you the link anyway.
Beautiful. Okay, and tell me who's live real quick so we can redirect to him. Let me look.
1 p.m.
Go over there, say TJ Warren TV raid. Who is live right now? Looks like, I don't see anybody live. I don't see anybody live other than Saeed and, you know what? No. All is live. The Fight Week show's live. Go over there.
Just see
Go over there.
In a bit.
Go over there and say hello to Ola for us. TJ Warren TV raid. Go over there and say hello. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later. And please sign somebody, Arsenal, please, for the love of God.
Oh, yeah. Fingers